talking about Christmas in general, right?
Right.
Okay,
Christmas.
and do you have any traditions in your family? How do you usually celebrate Christmas?
I love Christmas, and I think a lot of that comes from when I was a kid. We would have the tree, we would have the gifts, we had the fireplace with the chimney that Santa Claus would come down. It was great. I had a really good time at Christmas.
Yeah, I love Christmas.
We did all of those traditions. And of course, my parents did a very good job of making sure that when we actually came down on Christmas morning, we would have a lot more presents because Santa had come when we were all sleeping.
But did you also leave cookies and milk out in the middle of the night for Santa, just in case if he gets hungry?
Of course I think we left cookies, milk, and some carrot sticks.
For the reindeer.
Well, sure, and we were also afraid Santa would have too many cookies, get fat,
he cannot climb down the chimney.
And he wouldn't come down the chimney. Yeah, you gotta think about Santa's figure.
Oh, there's a lot of fun things to learn about Santa Claus and Christmas.
Absolutely. So we've already learned a little bit of the true story of Santa Claus, how he's probably comes from a real Christian leader named Saint Nicholas. So let's get back to that and find out more about this kind man, Saint Nicholas, who may or may not be Santa Claus.
Saint Nicholas became very popular. People knew him as the protector of children. They celebrated his good acts on December 6th. It became Saint Nicholas Day. To celebrate, people gave children special cookies, candy, and gifts. Children left letters for Saint Nicholas. In return, they got little gifts in their shoes or stockings.
Oh my gosh, we were so excited about more talking about Santa Claus, we forgot to introduce ourselves. She's Karen.
And he is Mike.
I am Mike, and this is ABC Interactive English. Welcome. Yes, it's day 2 of Santa Claus, the giver of gifts. Now, as we just mentioned, Saint Nicholas. Now, this was a real person who lived hundreds of years ago, but he was a real Christian leader, a leader in the Christian church. But how did this guy become Santa Claus? Well, let's read on. It says Saint Nicholas became very popular. A lot of people liked him, maybe even loved him, and certainly respected him. Remember, we learned yesterday he was kind to the poor.
Right.
He would help out poor people by giving them money or food or finding them a place to live. And it wasn't just the poor who he would also like to help. People knew him as the protector of children.
Oh, really?
So children and the poor, he's helping out all of them.
Okay, so we were talking about popular,
Yes.
and then you mentioned that when you say somebody is really popular, that means they're liked by a lot of people.
Right.
Right? So if you have a lot of friends or a lot of people like you, then you are very popular. Are you popular?
No.
Not really?
No, I told you my cats don't even listen to me.
True, but you are a very kind person though,
Oh,
so
thank
I thought
you.
you were really
I
popular.
bet you were quite popular in high school.
Well,
Sort
I
of.
like to be humble, but
Yeah, you were pretty popular.
I was pretty popular.
So we can talk about people being popular or places, or of course when we talk about pop music or famous movie stars, the movie that everyone wants to see this weekend. Those are all popular things, places, people, that kind of thing. We can also talk about being a protector.
What's a protector?
It's an interesting word. We don't use it that often, but it could be kind of any person or even a thing that keeps you safe in some kind of way, keeps danger away from you, keeps bad things from happening to you. So, you might think of your parents as your protectors when you're quite young.
Police officers
Can be protectors too. If you're talking about COVID-19, we had masks. These are protectors as well. Or those walls that we would eat our lunch behind in a restaurant, that's kind of a protector. So anything that kind of keeps you safe in many different ways we could talk about as a protector. But people, yes, we would think of police officers, superheroes, your parents, things like that. And people like that, they keep us safe. Yeah.
And in the article, it says that they celebrated his good acts on December 6th. So celebrated, what does does that mean? They want to celebrate their good acts.
December 6th?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then it became St. Nicholas Day. So it's actually not December 25th,
No,
right?
that is very, very interesting. But it was really nice that they did celebrate St. Nicholas's good acts.
That's right. So when you say good acts, it's some nice things that people do, right?
Yeah.
So an act is your action, something that you do, that's an act, right? So
Yes.
somebody maybe donated some money, that would be a kind act.
Right, or you could say, I did a good act today. I saw an old lady trying to cross the street with heavy shopping bags, so I helped her, made
you
sure
really?
she was, not today, but I've done that before.
Okay, that's nice.
It's nice to do a good act or a kind act every day, even if you just a little thing, it makes you feel good and makes other people happy. All right, so this guy was very kind. He helped out poor people, helped out kids, so people would celebrate him, but on a slightly different day in the month of December. Well, let's look at what they did on that day. Maybe that will show us how it became Christmas too. It says to celebrate St. Nicholas's Day, December 6th, to celebrate, people gave children special cookies, candy, and gifts.
That's very similar to Santa Claus, right?
This is kind of Christmas-like.
Like candy cane,
Yeah.
presents. Really, really similar.
Giving
and we have
things,
cookies too.
right, and giving all of those things to children. Because children like those kinds of things. When we talk about children, we're talking about young people, okay?
right.
Generally, when we think of children these days, we might think of anyone who's kind of from the ages, I don't know, 2 or 3 up to 12, 13, 14. If you're slightly older, you might be a teenager.
That's right.
If you're much older, you're an adult. But if you're younger than 2 or 3, we might say an infant or a baby or something like that. So basically, if you're in grade 1 to grade 6 or 7, you are probably a child. That's the singular form. So one child, 2 or more children, kids, in other words.
And the next vocabulary is one of my favorite because it is delicious. It is cookie, and I'm sure a lot of people know what cookie means, right? It's like a little snack, a little treat. It could be sweet, right? It could be very sweet, or just a teeny tiny bit. It could even be savory, right? Or can it?
You can. I had some chicken cookies in Hong Kong, and I think that was a terrible idea.
But we
So
have
normally they're sweet.
Yes, normally they're sweet. So we don't want to be eating too much though because we don't want to be getting cavities. Ouch.
Exactly. Cookies are made of a lot of the same things we make bread or cake or pie or things like that. They're small. You can eat them in a couple of bites. And yeah, kids often have them as a snack, as a treat. You might have cookies and milk before you go to bed or something like that.
Sounds great.
Kids love cookies and, well, adults
We do too.
love cookies too. Yeah.
Okay, in the next part of our article, it says children left letters for Saint Nicholas. Aww,
like they do
writing.
now.
Yeah, exactly, because they write letters to Santa.
Right.
They always write down what they want for Christmas and nice things that they want to say to Santa. And in return, they got little gifts in their shoes or stockings. This is exactly like Santa, so Saint Nicholas has to be Santa Claus.
Yeah, a lot of the stories and traditions from back then are still things that we do today. Kids today often will write Santa a letter asking for special toys for
That's
Christmas,
right.
Dear Santa, I've been a good boy. Can I get a new bicycle? And you'll write it in a letter. Yeah.
And then you would send it to Santa.
Exactly. When we write a letter, it's basically like an email, but the older form that these kids were writing would be on paper. They're using a pen or pencil or something, writing down the letters, not typing on a computer, but it's basically the same idea. And generally when we write a letter, we're writing it to one person about one thing. Maybe you're writing to your grandmother and telling her what a great holiday you're having, or you're writing to a company trying to get information or something like that. But basically, it's a short message to a certain person or group, and you would often expect to get an answer to your letter.
And actually, recently, I noticed something really cool. I've seen people video chat Santa.
Oh, really?
Have you ever heard of that before?
Of course, yeah.
And it's awesome. You actually see Santa. You get to talk to Santa. Santa can ask you questions.
Interesting.
It's pretty amazing,
You can Zoom with Santa.
Yes. because of technology.
Right.
Okay, our next vocabulary word is stockings. When you think of stockings, when we talk about it during Christmas time, it usually look like, something like a sock.
It's a big sock.
It's a very big one. It's not something you wear on your foot, right? Okay, so it's a big sock, and then you can put presents or little treats and snack inside.
Exactly. But back in the old days, people didn't wear long pants like we did, so they would often wear these thick stockings made of wool in the winter time to keep their legs warm. But yes, when we talk about Christmas stockings, you don't wear them. You hang them up in your living room or at the end of your bed. And at least in my family, we put little gifts in the stocking, little chocolates or something like that in your Christmas stocking. Maybe,
so nice.
Maybe cookies too.
That's right.
All right, there you go, guys. We've reached our break, but we're going to have a little bit more about how St. Nicholas became Santa Claus. I think we're well on our way. We have a lot of our Christmas traditions so far.
Exactly.
So let's find out more about them after the break.
All right.
Later, people linked these traditions to Christmas. They also made St. Nicholas into the happy and friendly Santa Claus. Today, Santa Claus continues to bring gifts and joy to children everywhere.
All right, so going back in time and looking back in history, we have this guy, St. Nicholas. He's kind to people. He brings gifts to children. The children write him letters and things like that. But remember, this was St. Nicholas Day on December 6th. Not the day that we celebrate Christmas. But the article says later, so as we moved along in time, in history, later people linked these traditions to Christmas. Oh, so they did have Christmas, but it was maybe more just about Jesus being born and that, and they wanted to take these St. Nicholas traditions and bring them together. That's right. And when we link things, we bring two separate things and we make a connection. We kind of join them together in some way. And then we also read, they also made St. Nicholas into the happy and friendly Santa Claus. So he kind of stopped being that Christian leader and just became every kid's best friend who brings them gifts on Christmas.
And that really suits him too, because he's such a kind person, right?
Absolutely. And actually that's a big part of a lot of history. We find these traditions change and grow and get linked to other traditions. What is a tradition? It's basically something that a group of people in a culture, or maybe even just in a family or a school, but they do it every year. They do it very regularly. Even as people grow up and leave, the tradition stays the same, okay? So it's kind of a tradition for people to sing the country song before a big sports game or something like that. It's a tradition to give red envelopes at Chinese New Year. It's a tradition for people to dress up and go out and get candy for Halloween. It doesn't matter if you're young or old, what part of the world you might be from. People do this kind of thing at the same time, for the same reason, for year after year, generation after generation.
Like some people like to open their Christmas presents on Christmas Day. On the morning of Christmas Day, that would also be a tradition in their own family.
My family.
Yes, I think a lot of people have the similar tradition too.
I used to go out with a girl and she was from Switzerland, and her tradition was to open them on Christmas Eve, the night before Christmas. And I remember being like,
you don't do that?
No, that's not right. Because it was such a different tradition from the way I was raised.
You're right. Okay. And you also mentioned the word friendly. When you say someone is really friendly, that means they're quite nice. They're kind to other people. Right. When they see people, even a stranger, they will wave and say hello and greet other people. So I would consider myself a friendly person.
You're a very friendly person.
Right, and usually greet people with a smile.
That shows that you're friendly, even without saying anything.
Yes, because you're showing that you like to make different kind of friends,
exactly.
Right? All right, okay, so in the next part of our article, it says, today, Santa Claus continues to bring gifts and joy to children everywhere, and this is definitely true, right? Not only does he bring gifts, and also joy. When you say joy, that means happiness.
Yes, I would add one thing. He brings gifts and joy to children and adults.
Oh, you are right.
Everywhere. It's not just the kids who love Santa Claus. It's the big kids like us. We also love Santa Claus too. Because, yeah, he's just about fun and joy and happiness. What is there to not like about a guy like that? So there you go, guys. Have a very Merry Christmas. We wish you all the best. We hope you've been good, and we hope Santa brings you everything you've asked for. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you soon.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Saint Nicholas became very popular. People knew him as the protector of children. They celebrated his good acts on December 6th. It became St. Nicholas Day. To celebrate, people gave children special cookies, candy, and gifts. Children left letters for St. Nicholas. In return, they got little gifts in their shoes or stockings. Later, people linked these traditions to Christmas. They also made St. Nicholas into the happy and friendly Santa Claus. Today, Santa Claus continues to bring gifts and joy to children everywhere.
Hi， 大家好，我是 Stephanie。那我们今天一样从单字来看哦。第一个呢 ，children 名词，孩子们，它是 child 的复数形。Children under 4 feet 3 inches tall cannot ride the roller coaster. 130公分以下的儿童不能乘坐云霄飞车。那第二个呢是 cookie 名词，饼干。Can you teach me how to bake cookies? 你能教我怎么烤饼干吗？那第三个单字呢是 letter 名词，信。I wrote a letter to the podcast Mark's mailbox. 我写了一封信到 podcast 马克信箱。好，那今天的第一个文法重点呢是 A knows B as C。A 将 B 视为 C。Everyone knows John as the king of excuses. 大家都知道 John 是借口大王。那第二个呢是 in return 作为回报。Return 呢在这边是名词，回报报答。Eileen bought me a drink in return for my help. Eileen 买了一杯饮料给我，以答谢我的帮助。最后一个重点呢是 link A to B， 将 A 和 B 连接在一起。Link 呢就是使两个东西连接、相关联的意思。Many Americans link pumpkin pie to Thanksgiving. 许多美国人会把南瓜派跟感恩节联想在一起。好，那这就是今天的讲解，我们下次再见。
Hi, I'm Kim.
And I'm Oliver.
We're going to play a game called Guess the Bear, where we each have words on these cards and we're going to use them in a sentence, but instead of using the word, we're going to replace it with the word bear. You have a minute to guess.
I'm ready.
You're going first. All right, let's time it. All right, phrase, 2 words. My classmates bared me bear the computer whiz. The world bears Steve Jobs bear the creator of Apple. My classmates bared me bear the computer whiz. The world bears Steve Jobs bear the creator of Apple.
Next one.
Okay. This is a noun. Ron's confident demeanor was all a bear. A kind bear can go a long way.
Gesture, show, demonstration, act.
Act. Good. This is a noun. Mary loves to bake bears for her friends. There's a children's book called If You Give a Mouse a Bear.
Cookie. Cake.
Cookie.
All right.
Okay, phrase, 2 words. My classmates bared me bear the computer whiz. The world bears Steve Jobs bear the creator of Apple.
I guess the first word is calls or something like that. And the second one would be kind of a title.
Know as. So my classmates know me as the computer whiz. The world knows Steve Jobs as the creator of Apple.
Okay. A little tricky, but all right.
It happens.
Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. All right. It's a noun. The couple doesn't want any bear. The theater for the animated movie is filled with bear.
Children.
That's right. All right, noun. The soldier writes bears home every month. The bear has been in the mailbox for a long time.
Letter.
Correct. Phrase, 2 words. If you help me, I will help you, bear, bear. I treated her to dinner, bear, bear, for her helping me out.
As thanks.
Kinda.
To thank.
No.
Because.
One more time.
Okay.
If you help me, I will help you, bear, bear. I treated her to dinner, bear, bear, for her helping me out.
Oh man, I don't know.
Just keep going. You got it. 4 seconds.
As thanks for and because of that.
In return. If you help me, I will help you in return.
Okay.
I treated her to dinner in return for her helping me out. Not easy, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Thank you. I'll take it.
See you next time.